Have you ever wondered how the curse of the Ubuyashiki clan began? And have you ever questioned how they managed to hide the 98th leader, allowing him to survive the final battle and become the oldest living person in Japan? Hello! In this video, we'll talk about the story of the relationship between Muzan and Kagaya. As we saw in the latest season, Kagaya said that Muzan is a stain on his family. What are the background details of this issue? Let's take a look. Kibutsuji Muzan, whom we know as the Demon King, is the strongest villain in the story of Demon Slayer. Muzan's human origin and transformation. His history before becoming a demon goes back over 1,000 years to the Heian period, around 794 to 1185 AD. If we compare that to the present timeline of the story, it would be the Taisho era, around 1912 to 1926 AD in Japan. So how was Muzan born? Actually, he was just like any other human. He was born from his mother's womb like everyone else. And of course, at first, he wasn't a demon. However, he had strange symptoms like not breathing, having no pulse, and his heart had stopped beating. These symptoms were present since he was in his mother's womb. On the day he was born, Muzan himself had no pulse and wasn't breathing. He was so still that everyone in the house thought he wouldn't survive. They took the baby's body for a cremation ceremony. But as the ceremony began, just as they were about to light the fire, the child who had been lying still and motionless suddenly cried out for the first time, and this little boy was Kibutsuji Muzan. Muzan was born into a wealthy and comfortable family. However, his body was very abnormal. As he grew up, he found out he was ill and was told he wouldn't live past the age of 20. Therefore, he needed constant treatment from a personal doctor. We don't know the name of this doctor, but we know he was a compassionate man. He was also the one who diagnosed Muzan's condition from the very beginning. This doctor constantly researched and sought a cure to prolong Muzan's life for as long as possible. The doctor developed a type of medicine and prepared it for Muzan to drink. However, when Muzan drank it, his condition worsened, and he didn't feel any better. In a fit of rage, Muzan grabbed a knife and killed the doctor. But things didn't turn out that way. After some time passed, his illness completely disappeared. It also made him much stronger. But where there are pros, there must be cons. The side effect that occurred was that Muzan could no longer be in the sunlight. Furthermore, he developed a craving for human flesh and blood. That's right. Muzan had now become a demon. The quest for perfection and the creation of demons. Although his illness was gone, having his life restricted like this was incredibly frustrating. This made Muzan want to find a way to be able to walk in the sunlight. Thinking this, Muzan began to think about the medicine the doctor had created. He concluded that the medicine must have been incomplete. He wanted to develop and complete it, but the one person who knew the formula, he had accidentally killed. The only thing he remembered about the medicine was that its main ingredient was the blue spider lily. He himself had never seen it and didn't know where to find it, or if it could be cultivated, or if he had to search for it. He had no information about it because the person who would have known best was already dead. From then on, he tried to find it with great difficulty. Muzan, who liked to do things himself, knew well that if he chose to do everything on his own, there would be limits. So he created many demons from his own blood for two reasons. One, to search for information about the blue spider lily, and two, to find a demon that could withstand the sun.
Each of the demons Muzan created would act as his eyes and ears at all times, and he could control the demons he created through the cells within their bodies.
The curse of the Ubuyashiki clan. Later on, Muzan becoming a demon not only had a terrible effect on humanity, but it also had a severe impact on the Ubuyashiki clan. This clan is of the same bloodline as Muzan. When the Ubuyashiki clan was on the verge of extinction, the male children born were very physically weak. The family took them to see the head priest at a shrine. The priest told them that the reason the clan's children were so weak was because something terrible had happened. A demon had been born from this clan. This bloodline was considered the progenitor of demons. This caused the children who were born to have a lifespan of no more than 30 years. This condition was like a curse. The only way to fix it was to eliminate the source of the demons, which meant they had to kill Muzan. Only then would the curse and the illness disappear. Therefore, the Ubuyashiki clan devoted their flesh, blood, and spirit to exterminating demons from that point on. They continued their lineage by taking wives from the families of shrine priests, believing it would help extend their lifespans even if only slightly. This practice continued for many generations, and they established the Demon Slayer Corps.
Kagaya Ubuyashiki, the 97th leader. The leader of the Ubuyashiki clan guided and cared for the members of the Corps. Everyone in the Corps calls him Master. The children born into this family are raised and taught strictly from a young age, so that the descendants are ready to step up and take over the leadership role at any time. In the current story, it is the generation of Ubuyashiki Kagaya. He himself became the 97th leader of the Demon Slayer Corps. Kagaya had to take on the role of master when he was only 4 years old. But even though he was young, he performed his duties as master excellently. He didn't act like a child at all. Kagaya is a fair-skinned man with straight black hair. His face has a bruise-like mark from his illness. This mark gradually spreads, caused by the family curse. It slowly kills him. The skin in that area looks like rotting flesh. For Kagaya, these marks started to appear on the left side of his face. They gradually covered his face, forehead, and a wide area, eventually consuming the upper half of his face. Additionally, he has a deep, gentle, low-toned voice, like a natural sound, that makes anyone who hears it feel calm. This is also a characteristic inherited through his family's bloodline. And the words he uses when speaking with the demon slayers always show praise and respect for the slayers in the Corps, those who dedicate themselves, taking up their swords to fight with all their might, even without knowing if they'll die tomorrow. It doesn't matter what rank they hold, because he himself cannot wield a sword to fight demons due to his illness. He even cares about the feelings of every single demon slayer. He can remember everyone's name, and he can also perceive the thoughts and feelings of each person. No matter how deeply those feelings are hidden, Kagaya can perceive them and use his words to help soothe their minds, or try to talk with them to help them open up and feel more at ease. Besides the unique quality of his voice, another special ability of the Ubuyashiki clan is their sharp, accurate intuition, which could be called foresight. This power gives them the ability to predict future events and prepare to deal with them in time, including commanding the demon slayers and avoiding various dangers. This has allowed the clan to survive for a long time alongside Muzan.
Family succession in the final battle. Kagaya first had a formal meeting with Amane, the daughter of a priest family, when he was 13 years old. Amane was 17. During that meeting, Kagaya told Amane that if she didn't want to marry him, he would be the one to refuse the arrangement. This is because Kagaya has a deep understanding of others' feelings, so he considered Amane's feelings and position more than the fact that she was being forced into marriage. He didn't want to force her if she didn't want it. But that very sentence made Amane decide to marry Kagaya. And Kagaya and Amane had 5 children together, 4 girls and 1 boy. They are Hinaki and Nichika, who are twin girls, Kiriya, the middle child and only son, and Kuina and Kanata, who are also twin girls. If you pay close attention, you'll see that while Kagaya was still the master, we never saw his son even once. We usually only see the identically dressed daughters by his side, but actually we'd already met Kiriya-kun from the very beginning of the story. Did anyone realize? It was on the day of the final selection, when Tanjiro walked in to request to take the test. We met the 2 twin daughters of the Ubuyashiki family, who came to announce the welcome, start the test, and congratulate those who passed. Of those 2 twin girls, one had white hair and the other had black hair. That's right, Kiriya-kun is the child with black hair. Besides the strict upbringing to make the children mature beyond their years, being a son meant that he would have to succeed the family line. For his safety, Kiriya-kun was raised like the other daughters, even down to his clothing. The day Muzan and Kagaya finally met was after the battle at the Swordsmith village had ended. The death of Upper Moon 5 and 4 made Muzan even more displeased. Furthermore, Muzan learned that the demon capable of withstanding and being in the sun was Nezuko-chan. This led Kagaya to predict that the final battle was fast approaching and that Muzan would surely be planning something big. After Muzan learned of the existence of the demon he had been searching for over 1,000 years, the demon's movement seemed to lessen, like a giant wave calming before a massive storm hits. Knowing this, Kagaya told the Hashira to prepare themselves. The most senior Hashira, Gyomei, came up with the idea of organizing a training camp. Kagaya, now 23 years old, was extremely weak. The mark on his face had spread and was severely rotten. He was so ill that he couldn't get up and his eyes could no longer see. He spoke with the most senior Hashira, Gyomei, about his plan to deal with Muzan. He would use himself as bait. He predicted that sooner or later Muzan would definitely come to see him because he was the one person Muzan wanted to kill with his own hands. And as he predicted, Muzan used Nakime's power to send her eyes to the Demon Slayer training camps to spy on where the Hashira were. He also used them to find Kagaya's location. And of course, he eventually found it. Once he was sure that none of the Hashira were by Kagaya's side, Muzan invaded. And Kagaya himself was prepared, both physically, and was waiting to meet him. Sacrifice and legacy. Kagaya, and even the previous masters of the Ubuyashiki clan, never considered having the Hashira protect them. He thought that having one Hashira guard him was a waste of an opportunity. Instead of protecting just him, sending a Hashira to kill demons to help people would be far more worthwhile. It was the same in this moment. At Kagaya's hidden mansion, only he, his wife, and their 2 twin daughters were there. There wasn't a single guard. This surprised Muzan greatly, but he figured it didn't matter. Muzan and Kagaya talked for a while. After Kagaya had said everything he wanted to say to Muzan, he blew up the mansion. He, his wife, and his children died along with it. Of course, his wife and children already knew this would happen, but they chose to stay by Kagaya's side until the very last moment. As for Kiriya and his other 2 twin sisters, they had already hidden somewhere else. And Kiriya immediately became the next master after Kagaya at only 8 years old. He also had to lead a major battle shortly after, with his 2 sisters supporting him. After the great battle ended, Muzan was eliminated. Kiriya then disbanded the Demon Slayer Corps. He went on to live a long life, becoming the oldest person in Japan in an era without demons. This proved that the curse of the Ubuyashiki clan had finally ended.
So, what did you think about the story of the relationship between the Kagaya clan and Muzan? If you have any thoughts on this, don't forget to discuss them in the comments below. Don't forget to share this video with your friends. Please like and subscribe to support me. I'll see you in the next video. For this one, goodbye.